Belial, Belial, or Belial, is a term occurring in the Hebrew Bible, Old Testament, which later became personified as the devil in Christian texts of the New Testament. Alternate spellings include Balial, Balial, Belhor, Belial, Belial, Beliar, Berial, Bylyl, and Beliya apostrophe AL. Early usage of Belial referred to wickedness or worthlessness, occurring several times in the Old Testament. Later in the Dead Sea Scrolls, circa 300 BCE, Belial was personified as a demon. In the Secret Book of John, an early Gnostic text, the ruler of the underworld is referred to as Belias. Hebrew Bible, Old Testament. Belial is a Hebrew word used to characterize the wicked or worthless. The etymology of the word is often understood as lacking worth, from two common words, belai, without, and ya'al, to be of value. Some scholars translate it from Hebrew as worthless, belai yo'il, while others translate it as yokeless, belai all. May he have no rising, or never to rise, belai ya'al. Only a few etymologists have believed it to be an invented name from the start. The word occurs 27 times in the Masoretic text, in verses such as the book of Proverbs, chapter 6, verse 12, where the King James Version translate the Hebrew phrase Adam Belial as a naughty person. In the Hebrew text, the phrase is either sons of Belial or simply sons of worthlessness. Phrases beginning with sons of are a common Semitic idiom, such as sons of destruction or sons of lawlessness. In Semitic languages, the term sons of, in any context other than preceding the name of an actual human being, is better explained as people defined by. Sons of worthlessness / Belial means people defined by worthlessness. Another common example of this is Aramaic term bar mitzvah, literally son of the commandment, but better translated as one defined by the commandment, as it refers to an individual who is obligated to fulfill the commandment of God. Of these 27 occurrences, the idiom sons of Belial, Beni Belial, appears 15 times to indicate worthless people, including idolaters, Deuteronomy 13, verse 13, the men of Gibeah, Judges chapter 19, verse 22, and chapter 20, verse 13, the sons of Eli in 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 12, Nabal and Shimei. The Geneva Bible 1560 uses wicked, and at the book of Judges, chapter 19, verse 22, has the marginal note EBR, Hebrew, men of Belial, that is given to all wickedness. In the KJV, these occurrences are rendered with Belial capitalized. The sons of Eli were sons of Belial. In modern versions, these are usually read as a phrase. The sons of Eli were worthless men, the wicked men of the city. Belial is applied to ideas, words, and counsel, to calamitous circumstances, and most frequently to worthless men of the lowest sort, such as men who would induce worship of other gods, those of Benjamin who committed the sex crime at Gibeah, the wicked sons of Eli, insolent Nabal, opposers of God's anointed, David, Rehoboam's unsteady associates, Jezebel's conspirators against Naboth, and men in general who stir up contention. indicating that the enemy power would no longer interfere with the carrying out of true worship by his people in their land. Yahweh declared through his prophet, "No more will any worthless person pass again through you. In his entirety, he will certainly be cut off." Second Temple period. The term Belial appears frequently in Jewish texts of the Second Temple period, texts classified by Christians as the Old Testament pseudepigrapha and apocrypha. Also, a large number of references to Belial are evidenced in the Dead Sea Scrolls discovered at Qumran from 1948. In the Dead Sea Scrolls, in the war of the sons of light against the sons of darkness, one of the Dead Sea Scrolls, Belial is the leader of the sons of darkness. "You made Belial for the pit, angel of enmity, and darkness is his domain. His counsel is to bring about wickedness and guilt. All the spirits of his lot are angels of destruction. They walk in the laws of darkness. Towards it goes their only desire." In the rules of the community, God is depicted as saying, "I shall not comfort the oppressed until their path is perfect. I shall not retain Belial within my heart." Belial controls all demons, which are specifically allotted to him by God for the purpose of performing evil. Belial, despite his malevolent disposition, is considered an angel. Belial's presence is fought throughout the war scrolls and is established as the force occupying the opposite end of the spectrum of God. In Colossians 1 verse 1, the first line of the document, it is stated that the first attack of the sons of light shall be undertaken against the forces of the sons of darkness, the army of Belial. This dichotomy sheds light on the negative connotations that Belial held at the time. The War Scroll and the Thanksgiving hymns both delve into the idea that Belial is accursed by God and his people, and shows how the existence of Belial in this world can be attributed to the mysteries of God, since we cannot know why he permits the dealings of Belial to persist. In the Dead Sea Scrolls, Belial is further contrasted with God. These are the angel of light and the angel of darkness. The Manual of Discipline identifies the angel of light as God himself. The angel of darkness is identified in the same scroll as Belial. The Dead Sea Scrolls also provide a recounting of a dream with Amram, the father of Moses, who finds two watchers contesting over him. One is Belial, who is described as the king of evil and prince of darkness. Belial is also mentioned in the fragments of a Zadokite work, which is also known as the Damascus document, or CD, which states that during the eschatological age, Belial shall be let loose against Israel, as God spoke through Isaiah the prophet. The fragments also speak of 3 nets of Belial, which are said to be fornication, wealth, and pollution of the sanctuary. In this work, Belial is sometimes presented as an agent of divine punishment and sometimes as a rebel, as Mastema is. It was Belial who inspired the Egyptian sorcerers, Jachanah and his brother, to oppose Moses and Aaron. The fragments also say that anyone who is ruled by the spirits of Belial and speaks of rebellion should be condemned as a necromancer and a wizard. In the book of Jubilees, uncircumcised Israelites are called sons of Belial. In the Testament of the 12 Patriarchs, Belial is also mentioned in the Testaments of the 12 Patriarchs. The author of the work seems to be a dualist because he presents Belial as God's opponent and not as his servant, but does not mention how or why this came to be. Simeon chapter 5 verse 3 says that fornication separates man from God and brings him near to Belial. Levi tells his children to choose between the law of God and the works of Belial. It also states that when the soul is constantly disturbed, the Lord departs from it and Belial rules over it. Naphtali contrasts the law and will of God with the purpose of Belial. Also in chapter 20, verse 2, Joseph prophesies that when Israel leaves Egypt, they will be with God in light, while Belial will remain in darkness with the Egyptians. Finally, the Testament describes that when the Messiah comes, the angels will punish the spirits of deceit and Belial, and that the Messiah will bind Belial and give to his children the power to trample the evil spirits. For many hath fornication destroyed, because though a man be old or noble, it maketh him a reproach and a laughingstock with Belial and the sons of men. In the ascension of Isaiah, Belial is the angel of lawlessness and the ruler of this world, and identified as Samael and Satan. And Manasseh turned aside his heart to serve Belial, for the angel of lawlessness, who is the ruler of this world, is Belial, whose name is Matanbicus. Christianity, New Testament. The word occurs just once in the New Testament when Paul the Apostle asks, "What concord hath Christ with Belial? Or what part hath he that believeth with an infidel?" 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 15. The spelling found in most manuscripts of 2 Corinthians is actually Beliar, Beliar, and not Belial, Belial. This is the reading preferred by textual scholars, and the change of L to R is attributed to a common change in Aramaic pronunciation. The Jewish Greek Septuagint, later the Old Testament of the early Christian church, generally renders the sons of Belial verses in the Hebrew Bible either as lawless men by idioms, sons of the pestilence, rather than a personal name, sons of Belial. Andres Paranomi, lawless men, Deuteronomy 13:13, and Huyo or Huai, Loi Moi, sons of the plague, 1 Samuel 2, verse 12. The Septuagint also avoids Belial in the singular, so Shemai, 2 Samuel 16, verse 7, when he cursed David, come out, thou bloody man, and thou man of Belial, is rendered, you lawless man, Paranomos. And Hannah to Eli, count not thine handmaid for a daughter of Belial, is rendered, don't count your maidservant as a daughter of the pest. The Latin Vulgate and Syriac Peshitta Old Testaments in some cases follow the Greek and other literized as Hebrew. The single New Testament use is preserved Belial with an L in Latin and Syriac. In rabbinical literature, the Talmud and rabbinical interpretation generally present Belial as an allegorical personification of evil, consistent with its usage in the Torah and later Jewish texts. The phrase sons of Belial appears in various rabbinic writings as a reference to wicked or corrupt individuals. The Talia Yeshu, a variant of the Taladat Yeshu, a later medieval anti-Christian text, applies the name Belial to Yeshu, whom it describes as the son of Miriam Migdala. However, these writings are not part of mainstream Talmudic tradition and are generally considered polemic or satirical rather than historical. The claim that Yeshu is the son of Miriam Magdala is misleading. The Talmud does not mention Mary Magdalene from the New Testament. Instead, it refers to a Miriam Magdala, likely meaning Miriam the hairdresser, which has no connection to the historical Mary Magdalene. Additionally, the figures Ben Stada and Ben Pandora, son of a Roman soldier, are debated within Talmudic scholarship, and there is no definitive evidence linking them to Jesus, Yeshua of the New Testament. English literature, John Milton, Paradise Lost, Book 1. Belial came last, than whom a spirit more lewd fell not from heaven, or more gross to love, vice for itself. To him no temple stood, or altar smoked. yet who more oft than he, in temples and at altars, when the priest turns atheists, as did Eli's sons, who filled with lust and violence the house of God. In courts and palaces he also reigns, and in luxurious cities where the noise of riot ascends above their loftiest towers, and injury and outrage. And when night darkens the streets, then wander forth the sons of Belial, flown with insolence and wine. Witness the streets of Sodom, and that night in Gibeah, when hospitable doors yielded that their matrons to prevent worse rate. John Milton, Paradise Lost, Book 2. On the other side rose up Belial, in act more graceful and humane. A fairer person lost not heaven. He seemed for dignity composed and high exploit, but all was false and hollow. Though his tongue dropped manna, and could make the worse appear the better reason, to perplex and dash maturest counsels, for his thoughts were low, to vice industrious, but to nobler deeds, timorous and slothful, yet he pleased the ear. Robert Browning of 1839, Soliloquy of the Spanish Cloister, the 8th stanza. Or my scrofulous French novel, on gray paper with blunt type. Simply glance at it, you grovel, hand and foot in Belial's gripe. If I double down its pages at the woeful 16th print, when he gathers his green gauges, ope a sieve and split it int. The occult. The 17th century grimoire, The Lesser Key of Solomon, mentions Belial, as does Aleister Crowley's Goetia of 1904 and Anton LaVey's The Satanic Bible 1969. In the Satanic Bible, Belial is listed as one of the 4 crown princes of hell, and the 3rd book of the Satanic Bible is the Book of Belial. In 1937, Edgar Cayce used the term Sons of Belial, and in opposition to the Sons of the Law of One for the first time in one of his deep trance readings given between 1923 and 1945. Cayce was often referred to as the sleeping prophet, who gave over 2,500 readings to individuals while in a deep trance state. While his definition of the sons of Belial was consistent with the Hebrew meaning of worthless, individuals focused on self-gratification, Cayce went on to use the term frequently to compare opposing human forces at work in prehistorical times related to the early development of Atlantis. In popular culture, in the 20th century included many references to Belial, notably in the celebrated silent film Nosferatu of 1922, Aldous Huxley's novel Ape in Essence of 1948, Philip K. Dick's novel The Divine Invasion 1981, the cult horror film Basket Case 1982, Dean Koontz's novel Phantoms of 1983, and Graham Masterson's novel Master of Lies 1991. Belial has also experienced a resurgence in popularity during the 21st century in numerous media, with video games being the most prominent. In the anime series Digimon Adventure, the antagonist Malo Myotisman is known as Belial Vam Demon in Japanese version. In the Gothic game series, Belial is the god of death. In the Square Enix game Final Fantasy Tactics, The War of the Lions, a character named Wygriff uses the power of a mystical stone and is then possessed by the demon Belial. In the 2000 horror film The Exorcism of Emily Rose, Belial is featured as the devil's representative who possesses the title character. In the real-time strategy game Dungeon Keeper's Deeper Dungeons expansion, the final level is titled Belial. In the role-playing game Vampire: The Requiem, Belial's brood is a covenant of vampires that serve vice and evil forces, consorting with infernal spirits for power. Blizzard Entertainment's video game Diablo 3 has Belial function as the final boss of Act 2 in its storyline. In the city of Chaldeum, where Belial takes residence, there are definite Arabic tones for the art direction and setting in the aforementioned chapter, also known as the Lord of Lies and the Master of Deception. Belial is regarded as one of the 4 lesser evils and 7 great evils in the mortal realm that seek to make this world an outpost of hell itself. Westwood Studios' PC game, Lands of Lore, Guardians of Destiny, features Belial as its main antagonist, portraying him as an evil god with a devil-like appearance. In the Warhammer 40k universe, Belial is the current Grand Master of the Deathwing of the Dark Angels Space Marine chapter, which has other characters named after bleaker Abrahamic entities such as Samael, the poison of God, and Azrael, the angel of death. In the mobile game Puzzle and Dragons, Belial is a monster that is part of the Archdemon series. In the book The Little Ships by J.A. Sutherland, the main character sails in a spaceship named Belial. Belial's meat is a health item in the video game Off by Mortis Ghost. In the video game Binding of Isaac, the Book of Belial is an activated item that increases damage for the current room. In the mobile game Crash Fever, Belial is one of the first protagonists. In Grand Blue Fantasy, Belial is a fallen angel appearing in the What Makes the Sky Blue 2 and 3 events as one of the main antagonists. Belial is also a summon in the Gacha and another summer variant summon. Belial has theme songs associated with his story. His costumes can be unlocked for the main character through in-game mode. Similarly, in Grand Blue Fantasy Versus fighting game and its sequel Grand Blue Fantasy Versus Rising, Belial is a playable character. Belial is the theme held in meditation by Vaughn Benjamin, the vocalist of Ake Becca, on the Midnight and Raz El collaborative album Through and True 2006. Belial is referenced among other demons on Mayhem's 2014 studio album Esoteric Warfare. Belial is mentioned in Pandemon, the 4th track on the LP. Lord Belial is a Swedish black metal band. In the Ultra series, Belial is the namesake of recurring villain Ultraman Belial, a rogue Ultraman that made a dark pact to gain the ability to control and merge with monsters, with his alternate forms occasionally taking on demonic appearances. Belial is mentioned in the track Fall from Grace from Morbid Angel's 1991 album Blessed Are the Sick. In Cassandra Clare's best-selling Shadowhunter Chronicles, Belial is one of the princes of hell as well as the demonic father of a major character, Teresa Gray, who was the protagonist of the Infernal Devices. In Shadowhunters, the television adaptation of the novel series, Belial is the demonic father of a supporting character in Season 3, the warlock Lorenzo Ray. Belial is mentioned as Lorenzo's father in the episode City of Glass. In the 2019 comedy horror film Ready or Not, the name of the demonic presence, Mr. LaBelle, is an anagram for Belial. In the Shin Megami Tensei and Persona games, Belial appears as a demon and persona to be used in combat. In the 2021 anime series Beyblade Burst Dynamite Battle, the main character Bill Daiko named his Beyblade Dynamite Belial. Later on, he upgrades Dynamite Belial into Dangerous Belial after its destruction. The name of the Bey, however, was changed to Balefire in the dub and in Hasbro toy releases. In Season 2, Episode 5 of The Chosen, Caleb is possessed by Belial and shares who he is while conversing with Mary. In The Wheel of Time, one of the Forsaken is named Belial, a reference to Belial. In the anime and manga series Welcome to Demon School, Aroma-kun, Belial is an elderly man who butts heads with the protagonist's grandfather.